Good morning. My name is Shamash. We are live both online in Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and also in the real world. Today, I'm going to be talking to you all about acceptance. What is acceptance? Why is it so powerful? Why is it so important? Why is mindfulness called an acceptance-based approach? And how's acceptance so good? Because it seems very passive. It seems like, if you accept something, it doesn't seem like a very positive thing to do. So what's the big deal about acceptance? So what I'm going to be doing is reading this third edition of the book Mindfulness for Dummies. I'm going to talk to you all about acceptance, and I'm reading the section on understanding acceptance. So acceptance turns out to be one of the most helpful attitudes to bring to mindfulness. Acceptance means perceiving your experience and simply acknowledging it rather than judging it as good or bad. You let go of the battle with your present moment experience. I think that's a good way of putting it, isn't it? Putting down the battle with your present moment experience. For some people, the word acceptance is off-putting, replacing it with the word. So you can replace it with the word acknowledgement if you prefer. By acceptance, I don't mean resignation. This is an important bit because this is one of the main misconceptions of acceptance. By acceptance, I don't mean resignation. I don't mean if you think you can't do something, accept it. That would be giving up rather than accepting. I'm talking about your experience from moment to moment. That's what I'm talking about with acceptance. For example, if you feel pain, whether it's physical, such as a painful shoulder, or mental, such as depression or anxiety, the natural reaction is to try to avoid feeling the pain. This seems very sensible because the sensation of physical or mental pain is unpleasant. You ignore it, you distract yourself, or perhaps you even go as far as turning to recreational drugs or alcohol to try and numb the discomfort. This avoidance may work in the immediate short term, but before long, avoidance fails in the mental and emotional realm. And this tends to be a bit of a pattern. Things that work well in the short term end up being to the detriment in the long term. And the things that are more difficult in the short term end up being quite helpful in the long term. By fighting the pain, you still feel the pain, but on top of that, you feel the emotional hurt and struggle with the pain itself. The Buddha called this the second arrow. If a warrior is injured by an arrow and unleashes a series of thoughts like, why did this happen to me? What if I can never walk again? That's the second arrow. You may inflict this on yourself each time you feel some form of pain or even just a bit of discomfort, rather than accepting that this has happened and taking the next step. Avoidance, running away, is an aspect of the second arrow and compounds the suffering. Acceptance means stopping fighting with your moment-to-moment experience. Acceptance removes that second arrow of blame, criticism, or denial. So this is the formula that I put in the book. You probably can't see that actually. It is suffering equals pain times resistance. I don't know, has anyone heard of that equation? Suffering is pain times resistance. The more you resist the pain you're experiencing, the more you suffer. The pain is already there. Resisting the pain compounds your difficulties. Acceptance teaches you to let go of the resistance and therefore ease your suffering. So we're distinguishing here between pain, which is the moment-to-moment experience, and the suffering, which is the emotional resistance you put on top of it and where you actually have some choice. Perhaps when you're mindful, you're feeling bombarded by thoughts dragging you away again and again. If you don't accept that the mind likes thinking, you'll become more and more frustrated, upset, and annoyed with yourself. You want to focus on your mindfulness practice, but you just can't. So in that example, the first arrow is the lots of thoughts that you're having. Your mind has got lots of thoughts in meditation, which I think almost everyone has experienced. I think absolutely everyone has experienced. And the second arrow is not accepting the thoughts. that are bound to come in meditation, and criticizing yourself for having too many thoughts. There's the second arrow. And so the solution is to acknowledge and accept that the thoughts are part and parcel of the mindfulness practice, to let go of your resistance. You can do this by gently saying to yourself, thinking is happening, it's natural to think, or simply labeling it as thinking. By acknowledging the feeling, thought, or sensation and going into it, the experience changes, even with physical pain. Try experimenting with actually feeling it. Research has found that the pain reduces. I've heard that it can even reduce it by up to 90% as you start to bring more acceptance to it. And it goes on. There's more information here too, but I won't keep reading it. But I think this gives you a bit of an idea of the importance of acceptance. And I'm very passionate about a therapy and training called acceptance and commitment therapy and training. And those researchers found that lack of acceptance, avoidance of difficult thoughts, feelings, and sensations seems to be at the core of so much suffering for so many people. It's just really, really hard to accept. But when we learn to do it and we start cultivating the skill of it, when we start to realize how important that is, it's really transformative. So yeah, that's what some of the things I wanted to touch on with acceptance. Have a little think about what in your life, in this present moment that you're experiencing, that maybe you're having a certain resistance to, and what you could do to cultivate a bit more acceptance. I think mindful practices and meditation practices, or yoga or Tai Chi, things like that, can help you to start cultivating an acceptance of the present moment experience. And remember, we're not saying accept everything in your life. So if there's a situation you need to change, there's some action you need to take, then fine, do so. Begin by accepting this moment and then take action. If you think about something like climate change, it requires an acceptance that, okay, humans are impacting on that. And then you can start thinking, okay, what action can I take? If you're denying the reality of what's going on, then the action is not going to happen. So that's even an example on a global level where we need to start with acceptance before change can happen. Thanks a lot for watching. If you are free on Sunday, I'm doing a mini retreat. It's kind of listening to a sound bath or a gong bath, and also listening to nature sounds and maybe some mindful music. So less guided and more stepping back and listening and connecting and meditating in your own way. And then we'll have a little discussion at the end. So if you're free from 9:30 to 12:30, and the clocks are changing on Sunday, by the way, in the UK. But if you're free at those times, then come along to our retreat. The link will be, where can you find the link? If you're on our email list, you'd get the link. I don't know if you're on it or not. If you want to know the link, then leave a comment below and I'll definitely send the link to you that way. Thank you very much. Hopefully see you again soon. And bye for now. Hope you have a great day.